A majority of commodities produced in the U.S. will, at some point, end up at the mouth of the Mississippi River in Louisiana, on their way to other ports of call. And while Louisianans are proud to be one of the most important shipping centers for the country, the commodity those living and working along the river would really like to see stick around is land, and lots of it. Around the turn of the 20th century, levees were constructed along the banks of the Mississippi River to control flooding and improve navigation. But without a constant supply of fresh water and sediment from the river, salt water from the Gulf has decimated the marshes and wetlands, turning many areas of the coastline into open water.
Our wetlands have been sacrificed for navigation, Mississippi River, and also for oil exploration, provide energy for the nation and industry for the nation. Well, the nation needs to help us to save our coast, because if not, where you're sitting now will become the new barrier island.
Because of this coastal loss, multiple industries in Louisiana have become more vulnerable to damage from hurricanes and storm surge that could impact the nation's economy as a whole. Along a 54-mile stretch of the Mississippi River, set between the cities of Baton Rouge and New Orleans, is the Port of South Louisiana. Over 290 million tons of commodities flow through this area annually, making this landing the largest tonnage port in the Western Hemisphere. But the port's strength in global shipping is slipping. Rising sediment levels at the mouth of the Mississippi River can restrict the amount of cargo a ship can carry to and from South Louisiana. Industry leaders from the port have petitioned the White House for funds to dredge the mouth of the Mississippi River to a depth of 50 feet. Material recovered would be diverted to areas along the coast to help restore wetlands and marshes in a practice labeled beneficial use. Earlier this year, President Trump announced a $1 trillion infrastructure proposal that included money for waterway infrastructure improvements in Louisiana. Port officials hope the president will push for permanent annual funding for dredging the channel of the Mississippi River.
These countries that are buying our grain will find another place to buy it that's more reliable and more competitive. So it's very important for the entire country to understand that dredging the mouth of the river is a national problem, a USA problem, not a Louisiana problem.
Beneficial use of dredging material to replenish the wetlands and marshes of coastal Louisiana is part of a multi-pronged approach to help restore parts of the Pelican State's coast. Responding to hurricane recovery efforts in 2005, the Louisiana legislature organized the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority, or CPRA. The agency was charged with developing a set of plans that would address hurricane protection and coastal restoration. Every 5 years, the group delivers their master plan to the Louisiana legislature. For the 2017 Coastal Master Plan, 120 projects were proposed to create and maintain land along the coast. One of those projects is located at the Caminada Beach and Headlands. Over the past 5 years, work has been done to rebuild a beach crucial to birds and create a barrier protecting an important oil and gas industry port from extreme weather events.
This beach right here, this beach and headland, is the first line of defense from storms. And if you can provide that protection here, then that helps to protect the interior parts of the basin where the majority of our population lives.
Oil and gas industry leaders, government officials, and wildlife experts brought together by CPRA worked to design and rebuild the beachhead using funds from the 2010 BP oil spill settlement. But the plan was missing one ingredient: sand. Planners made the decision to pull the key element from two sources.
So here in Louisiana, we have a resources problem. We have a problem with we don't have enough natural resources sometimes to help restore the areas that we need. So we really need to get that resource from outside of the system, whether it's sediment from the Mississippi River that makes it the muddy Mississippi River, or if we have to go offshore to mine sand to put on this beach. We need new material.
The beachhead, built with newly mined sand, protects Port Fourchon, which services 90% of the oil and gas operations in the Gulf of Mexico. Roughly 1.5 million barrels of crude oil flow through the pipelines at the facility each day, making Port Fourchon responsible for roughly 18% of the nation's energy supply. While business in the port may be booming, land mass continues to shrink, forcing commissioners in Lafourche Parish to think environmentally in order to survive economically.
We're actually going to rebuild an area in and around the port. So when we dredge to create a slip, we're building land both for industrial development, but we're also, as well as building land for a marsh creation.
Even as businesses along the Mississippi River are finding ways to help alleviate coastal erosion, more land continues to slip away. State officials estimate that without further work, Louisiana could lose 2,250 square miles of coastland over the next 50 years. The problem was not lost on Governor John Bel Edwards. Last week, he declared a state of emergency along Louisiana's coast.
We're not ever going to take down the levees of the Mississippi River. That's not going to happen. We know that. We're not going to do anything that's going to impair navigation and ships, along our ports and our river, because that is vital to the economy of the entire United States.
State officials hope the move will speed up the federal permitting process, helping greenlight coastal restoration projects in the 2017 master plan.
The sense of urgency here is definitely heightened, and that we have this small window of opportunity to do as much as we can. And maybe we are just holding the line, but that's important to us here.
For Market to Market, I'm John Torpy.